Hey everybody, how's it going? Josh here, and today we're going to talk about the Skrulls shapeshifting here, and it's something really interesting to me because we didn't get to see a lot of it until the most recent TV spot slash extra bonus trailer, whatever you want to officially call it, that we got for Captain Marvel a few days ago as of me recording this. And the way they showed it really sparked some curiosity in me, because in the comics, Skrulls shapeshift easily into different animals or alien races, regardless of size, sex, whatever. And it's further interesting to me because there's actually a story, and you can look it up online if you don't believe me, but in the comics, some Skrulls were forcibly shapeshifted into cows by Reed Richards, and eventually they were slaughtered, sold as steaks and things like that, and people ate them and were mutated by it, and some people got pseudo-Skrull-like abilities, and it was actually a really interesting comic. But basically what I'm saying is the Skrulls shapeshifting pretty much knows no limits in the comics, and even further on as you go into it, we get Super Skrulls and things like that. There's even Eternal Skrulls, and technically the Skrulls that we usually see aren't even normal Skrulls, they're called Deviant Scrolls, which is interesting. And I guess they have the Deviant gene just like the Eternals, they have Deviant gene members as well. So really interesting stuff here. I doubt they'll go super in depth in the movie about that kind of thing. They'll probably simplify it to we just have one type of Skrulls and that's it. But just for people interested in the Skrulls out there, there's a few different types you guys could read about. But one thing I also find interesting about the Skrulls shapeshifting, and we might see this in the movie, is that they're able to shapeshift to make weapons or even fly, through the use of making themselves wings or gills to breathe underwater. Pretty much their shapeshifting is endless, considering the fact that they could turn into almost anything, from a lizard to a cow to a person, another alien, a fly, a dragon, really whatever their shapeshifting calls for, they can do. And in the Captain Marvel movie, it's revealed that the term simmed is actually used when someone's been impersonated by a Skrull. And it's something that's very serious, especially to the Kree, to the point where Jude Law was saying that there's a scene in the movie where they're asking the Kree warriors if they've ever been simmed before. And one soldier responds, or one warrior responds, I have been simmed. And because of that, not knowing if they could trust themselves or not, they have to kill themselves, which is pretty dark, of course, but it just kind of shows you the extent of which the Skrulls can shapeshift. I mean, it kind of also leads the door to the possibility that we'll get sleeper Skrull agents that maybe are brainwashed, not too dissimilar from the Winter Soldier and how he was brainwashed and activated with certain keywords, so that they think they're the person to such a point where, like I said before, with the Kree warrior, they had to kill themselves, because even if you have known you've been simmed before, you have no way of knowing if you're actually you after that point, I guess. And at the same time, you have no idea to know if you're still even yourself or if you're really the Skrull, but brainwashed to believe you're who you're impersonating. Now, during the TV spot, one thing I really noticed is that it appears the shapeshifting may be partially related or influenced by a shining purple light that, at least for Talos in the trailer, was in his kind of upper arm slash shoulder area on the front side of his body. And if you kind of slow down the trailer, especially at 1/4 normal speed, you could really see that kind of purple thing activating and changing, like expanding and kind of seemingly influencing his shapeshifting to some degree. Now, my personal theory is that the biological tissue the Skrulls have naturally has the ability to shapeshift and change, but the purple thing is more so like nanotech or something like that they can influence to maybe shapeshift a weapon. Because we do see also in the trailers, especially trailer number 2, that at one point Talos has a weapon that seemingly has been shapeshifted onto his hand. So it's possible, especially because that weapon is purple as well, that maybe the Skrulls have technology infused into their bodies to complement their shapeshifting and allows them to shapeshift weapons, along with the fact that they can shapeshift just in general. I think that might be something really interesting we'll get in the movie. I think it'd be pretty cool personally to see so. Also, actor Ben Mendelsohn, who plays Talos, says that it takes a lot of talent for the Kree, or not the Kree, sorry, but it takes a lot of talent for the Skrulls to execute shapeshifting and changing forms with near perfect accuracy. And it's kind of cool because we do see in the trailer that Talos seemingly, like I said before, they can shapeshift to anything regardless of gender, So we see Talos change into a woman, even though he's usually a male, with a surfboard before eventually taking the form of Nick Fury's shield boss that he primarily has throughout the movie. But I do think it's really interesting. We also saw in the train battle between Captain Marvel and the old lady that was really a Skrull that they do maintain some sort of durability and strength, at least above normal human level, even when they're impersonating something like a human. So it's definitely really interesting, kind of the nature and how the shape-shifting for the Skrulls work. Obviously it makes no scientific sense because it breaks a few conservation laws, but regardless of that, throwing out actual science and introducing just fictitious whatever, I think it's really cool. I'm really interested in seeing what the purple stuff's all about. I think that might be a part of how they introduce, because the Skrulls in the comic usually have a purple thing on their head that kind of is a part of their attire. So I think it'd be interesting if that purple stuff is actually nanotech that, like I said before, simply complements their shape-shifting, and that takes the place of making weapons and stuff like that for them while they're shape-shifting, so they could easily, while they're in combat, I guess you could say, shape-shift with the purple nanotech like a sword or a shield or maybe even a weapon. And for those who are saying that may be too far out in the park, well, it's basically what Iron Man had in Infinity War. So I don't think a more advanced society like the Skrulls, I don't think it's really that far-fetched to say that they might have similar tech. And maybe it's even possible that we'll find some way that S.H.I.E.L.D. has that tech later in some capacity or noted down, and it further inspires the nanotech, or at least how Tony Stark makes the nanotech he has by Infinity War. But comment below your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about the Skrull's shape-shifting ability in this movie? Comment below, and I'll see you guys later.